our group. I'm so happy that you're here. My name is Dr. Jody Dinnerman. I'm the founder and creator of all things staffless practice. We do have a free training that's about an hour long to go into like what it's all about and what we do and how we can support you. But I love to come here weekly and give you something really relevant to chew on for the week. Usually I do this on Monday evenings, but it's been nuts around here because we're in the middle of open enrollment week for Staffless Practice Academy coaching programs. So I'm here now, and here we are. And one of the questions that I got asked in the Jane app group, which is my favorite go-to, that's our EHR program of choice, is how do we do something like a reactivation program if we don't have staff? And I want to go through this step by step in my world. Please keep in mind that I'm a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor. So that's one factor, and I'll show you why that's a factor in a few minutes. Also keep in mind that I'm very informal with my practice members. I'm kind of like everybody's sister, best friend in my practice. They've been coming to see me for over 2 decades. So I don't want to drop the personal connection in my automation because it would really be super disconnected from who I am in the world. So know that those things are true, and I'm about to go through the breadcrumb trail that I'm going to walk you guys through. I'm also going to say that I'm watching this on, I've got 3 screens in front of me right now. I'm watching this on Facebook. So if you have real-time questions, I will see them pop up. Go ahead and put them in the comments. If you're watching the recording of this, I hope that you get a lot out of it. That's really all I want to say. So I do a lot in this world, and I'm working about 60 hours a week right now, and probably 6 of those hours are as a chiropractor. So when I go to the office to be a chiropractor, have chiropractic hat on, it has to be really easy. It has to be streamlined. It can't be time intensive, and it has to be authentic because that's really important to me. When I think of, usually I do this every month. The idea is if you have a strong reactivation program, there's something that you do every week to nurture it, right? And week 1, you do this, week 2, you do this, week 3, you do this, week 4, you do this, and then you start over again in week 1. Another tip for this, a big tip, is you have one person in the practice in charge of this. So if you are a multidisciplinary practice and you have a lot of people whose hands are in the cookie jar, one person is in charge of the recall program. If you are flying solo like I am, it's not, there's no creative burden, like that you're going to be the person who takes care of this. And the idea is this: what is a recall program? I have practice members there are some of my practice members just are not able to schedule ahead of time a care plan for themselves. It just is, I wouldn't be able to do that for myself right now. And I have to be patient with that. And I have to hold space to make it really easy for my practice members to stay on my radar, to have flexibility with their scheduling. I used to be really adamant about my system of scheduling in my practice, but I also had like 4 or 5 staff members, and I was also miserable. And I was finding that it was incongruent to my lifestyle. I wouldn't be able to sign up for regular appointment times like Tuesdays at 4 and Fridays at 1, because it's just not the way that my life is. If that is your jam and that floats your boat, Godspeed, right? But for me, on this side of the computer, most of my practice members want to be impulsive about their scheduling. It's what works for them. If you have a practice that's kind of hybrid and you have some people who want a regular appointment time and then you have some people who don't, the recall program is more going to be for the people who don't. And the first part of the recall program is a regular message that you send to your practice it's called the weekly wellness text thread. And in my practice, it looks something like this. Every Sunday afternoon, I send a text to all of my active practice members, meaning people who have been into my office in the past 6 months. And I say, hey guys, it's Sunday. It's Dr. Jody at Light Source. here's our schedule for the week. And then I'll say something sweet, whether it's just a one-liner, like, don't forget to hydrate, or did you get some sunshine today, or something to make them smile, something to spark joy, something to remind them that I'm the chiropractor. Remember me, put me in your scheduling plans for the week. I send that text every week. Even if someone is already on my schedule, they still get that text, and it still keeps chiropractic, it keeps wellness care on their mind. So that's the first part of the recall program, is staying connected. The second part, and I'll show you what all of this looks like in a minute. The second part is once a quarter. Actually, the way that I'm going to introduce this to you is once a month. Once a month, you're going to pull a report from your EHR program. And the report is called an unscheduled patient list, or an unscheduled patient report. And I'm going to show it to you in a minute. And you print the report or you download it, but I don't want you to download it, actually, because I want you to stay as compliant as possible with this process. You grab the report, and on the report, you've got a list of people who do not have a scheduled appointment with you right now. And then wherever you are texting your practice members, ideally you have a compliant program to text them. You're simply going to add a tag to their name. And the tag for today's tag, we actually just did recalls today. Today's tag is August recalls. And if I am disconnected from that part, the reason you go through this as the practitioner is you might have seen Sally in the supermarket yesterday. If you send her a text message today saying, hey, Sally, I haven't seen you in so long, there's a disconnect. There's a drop in authenticity on the process. So you want to go through the list. You want to come up, and the way that I do this is I'll say just first names all the way down the list to my VA, and my VA has a compliant way of looking at this list. And then my VA will tag each one of the people who I mention on the list and put them on the August recall list. And then a whole series of things happen because we've already set up the workflow. If you are flying solo, then you go through the list, you tag the people, but make sure that that tag has a follow-up sequence of actions. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. You do that on week 1, you go through the list. On week 2, and I'll tell you what to say. On week 2, you're going to go back to the list, and anybody who still has that tag, you're just going to drop a hi. Hey, name. I reached out to you last week, didn't hear back. All okay? And the text is going to sound something like this. Hey, name. Hey, Jody. It's been a minute. This is how I talk to my practice members. It's been a minute since I've seen you at the office. Text back a 1 if you want to get on the schedule this week, a 2 if you want to continue a break from care, or a 3 if you want to stop, if you want to be removed from this list. So all your practice members need to do is text back 1, 2, or 3, which takes 2 seconds. The text being sent probably takes 3 minutes. Them reaching back to you takes 2 seconds, okay? And ideally, if they text you back a 2, that means they want to continue to put their care on hold. You have an automation waiting to receive them that says when somebody texts a 2 to this inbox, this series of things happen. If somebody texts a 1 to this inbox, this series of things happen. If somebody texts a 3 to this inbox, this series of things happen. You want to make sure that the things that happen are congruent with your mission and your vision for your practice, are not offensive to the people who are receiving those things, and I think most importantly are compliant. You don't want to disregard what you can and can't do in a texting program. Bottom line. Okay, so let's go to, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And I'm going to show you, if you are a Jane app user, if you go to reports and you scroll down and you go to unscheduled patient lists or unscheduled members by last visit, that's the report that I'm talking about. You run down that report and you see all of your names of people who aren't scheduled. If Sally's name is on that report, I don't want to show you my report because it would be showing you my patient names. If Sally was on that report, but I saw Sally at soccer practice yesterday or in the supermarket, I might not send her this text because this text might say, I haven't seen you in a long time. If you want the text to be more relevant to specifically your practice, you could say, hey, Sally, hey, name. It's been a while since I've seen you at the office. That's different than it's been a while since I've seen you. Text back a 1 if you want to get on the schedule this week, a 2 if you want to continue a break from care, or a 3 if you want to be removed from this list. Then you go over to your texting program. This is what we call the practice suite. This is our texting, email, social media, phone calls, fax lines, all of it, all in one, right? It's incredible, and it's also HIPAA compliant. So, and then Sally would then be put on a workflow, and I'm going to create the workflow so that you can see it now, okay? I'm going to go into automations. I'm going to create a workflow, and I'm going to start from scratch. You guys follow me on this because it's just so cool. And the trigger is going to be tag, contact tag, and I'm going to add the filter. A tag is added, and I'm going to add another filter, and I'm going to save trigger. Oh, sorry. I'm going to, hold on. Oh, select tag. And the tag is going to be August recalls. And this is a new tag. So, and then I'm saving that. So anybody who gets tagged August recalls is going to get the series of events that I'm about to put in here. Now, I can put hundreds of different events in here. I can do a voicemail drop that is, it makes it look like I called her, but I didn't. It's a voicemail that pops up on her phone that says, hey, it's Dr. Jody. I saw that you wanted to take a break from care. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. Know that you're important to me. Please text back this number if you have any questions. So that could be my first thing that I set up here. I'm going to say voicemail and save action. It wants me to upload a file. So let me just grab a file to upload here. Do I have a file handy? I don't. So I'm going to remove this automation. I don't want to start with that. I'm going to start with an SMS. And the SMS would be, I could either select a template. Do I have recalls in here as a template? I sure do. I love that. So save action. So the first thing that happens is they get the recall text. Then I'm actually going to put a wait button in here. I want to wait for 1 minute, and I'm going to show you why. And then advanced window, I'm going to say I want this to only send Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 and 5, because I don't want to text people on the weekends. And I'm going to save that action. So it's going to wait, and then it's going to send an SMS, and then maybe it'll do an email. Maybe it'll do a voice message drop. The email might be something about educating them on why it's important to be in care. And this would be the workflow recalls. I'm going to actually call this recalls August. This is a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's done. That's what I did. This is how I want to nurture my people. And then I can set up another workflow. Let me just stop sharing. I can set up another workflow that then says if they send back a 2, if anybody sends the number 2 in my text, do these things. Remove this tag, add this tag, send this email, drop this voice message, add to this nurturing sequence of long lost practice members. That's how we implement a recall program. And then week 2, we might go in and see who got that text message but didn't respond. It can be another workflow if you want it to be. And then I might send them another text. I might give them a new tag like recall August week 2. That would be their new tag. And all of those people who have that tag get this text message, this voicemail drop. That would be another workflow. You could do a workflow for week 1 recall, week 2 recall, week 3 recall, and then I was just explaining this to somebody. When it comes to an automation system, you want to be able to come at it from anywhere and end up anywhere, right? You want it to be like a series of synapses. The challenge is knowing where you want to end up. With a recall program, you want to keep it as simple as possible. And you want to end up with people either saying, I don't want to come see you anymore, and then nurturing them, or I want to see you, but I want to continue to wait, or yeah, put me on the schedule this week. If they said, put me on the schedule this week, I would probably drop them a link to my scheduling page. If they said, I want to continue to take a break from care, I'd probably send them on a nurturing sequence that says, this is why regular chiropractic care is important to your nerve system and your expression of life. Here's a story of John who stopped care and then came back in and got on regular every other week care, and how it changed his life. And now he won the lottery and is living on an island off of Hawaii. Like, put a story in front of them. And then if they say, I don't want to come back in anymore, I would probably send them on a sequence that says, I will miss you, I respect your choice. And then I would probably give them a nurturing sequence of like nurturing them, educating them about the chiropractic lifestyle. If you're a PT, an ND, an OT, massage therapist, an herbalist, an acupuncturist, whatever your trade is, follow my lead in relevance to your trade. If you don't have a program like the one that I showed you, it's simply once on a regular basis. This doesn't have to be automated at all. On a regular, do not call them, you guys. It puts them on the spot. It makes them uncomfortable. I would not want a phone call from my chiropractor saying, why aren't you coming in for your visits anymore? I wouldn't mind a text. It shows me like with no confrontation. If there's somebody that I care about, like that I've become, I've been their chiropractor for a while and I haven't seen them and I'm concerned, then I might call them. But if it's just someone who's been in a couple of times and I just want to check in with them, I'm going to send them a text. I'm not going to call them and put them on the spot. Or have somebody who does the admin at my office do that. It would make me uncomfortable, and again, use your discretion here, to each their own. That's like the taste test of the recall program and where you can go with something like the practice suite or an automation sequence for your practice. With that, all of that being said, we are in open enrollment week. If you are interested in learning more about our coaching programs or the way that our team can help you, please drop a message here below this post. And as always, let me know if you have any questions. I love that you are here listening, and go make the world better with great care.